Welcome back to Bedroom Brainiacs, adult sex ed for everything you wish you learned in high school. In this video, I'm going to spend a couple minutes talking about getting tested for STIs. So I'm going to talk about the most common types of STI tests that are out there, what they test for, and give you some general information on how the process works. So to get started, I want to talk about the difference between STI and STD. STD is the term that was used for a long time. It means sexually transmitted disease, and then about a decade or so ago, people started using STI more and more. So STI stands for sexually transmitted infection, and a lot of people prefer infection over disease because infection sounds less scary, it's more manageable, and in some cases it's more accurate too. So I'm going to use them both. I use them interchangeably. If you want to get into the weeds with differences, there are differences, but for our purposes, I'm going to use STI and STD interchangeably. So getting tested for STIs is really important because a lot of STIs have no symptoms at all. So you could have an infection and there would be no sign that anything was different in terms of how you feel or how your body looks, but you could still have an infection. So that's why testing is really important. Testing is also important because infections are easier to treat and manage when they're caught earlier. So if an STI is caught early on, it's going to be easier to manage than if it sits inside your body for a long time doing damage. STI testing is also really important because the results of those tests might determine the decisions you make around who you have sex with, the types of sex that you have, and in general just might help you make better decisions about your sex life. So the first common type of STI testing that exists is the blood test. So the blood test might be a couple drops of blood from your fingertip, or it might be collecting a vial of blood like they do for your general blood work when they take a few vials of blood out. And then they're going to test that blood for things like syphilis, HPV, hepatitis, and HIV. Another type of really common STI testing is the urine test. So that's your standard pee in a cup. This urine test can test for things like chlamydia and gonorrhea. Some people have a lot of practice and skill aiming their urine at a target. Some people don't have that practice, so this can get messy, it can get sloppy. You might have to wash your hands a few times, but in general, peeing in a cup should be pretty painless and easy. There is a urine test for trichomoniasis and herpes. Those are a little bit harder to find though, so in general, the urine test is for chlamydia and gonorrhea. Another type of test that your doctor might use is the general physical exam. So they might examine your body for signs or symptoms of an STI. They might specifically look at your genitals, your throat, your rectum, and then they also might follow up a physical exam with a swab test. So a swab test is where a sample of cells is collected, either cells or fluids, is collected from the body, and then those cells are tested for the STI. So an example of that is the pap smear. The pap smear is when a sample of cells is taken from the cervix, and then those cells are tested for HPV. So the cell test, the swab test, the urine test, and the blood test, those are the most common types of STI testing that you're going to encounter if you go to a doctor and say, I want to get tested for STDs. That's usually what you're going to encounter. Your own, specific situation might be different depending on your history, your medical history, your sexual history. But this was just some general information to answer your questions, give you some good general information about getting tested for STIs, and thanks for watching.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Please stay in touch with us by subscribing to our YouTube channel, following us on social media, and absolutely please comment below and let us know if you have any suggestions for future topics. We would love to hear from you.